This is Scott Huesing, and I want to welcome everybody in the audience to your Break It Down show. When you think about 1,000 of anything, friends or money, and now coming up on this cardinal millennial episode of the Break It Down show with Pete Turner. Pete, you are absolutely one of my best friends, and I could not thank you enough for what you do on the Break It Down show, sharing amazing stories and really just including me to be a part of what you do. And it's my honor and privilege to call you my friend, and I look forward to the next 1,000 episodes on this show. To the tens of thousands of followers that Pete has on, I want to say thank you. Keep subscribing, and to Pete, keep doing what you're doing, brother. Keep up the fire. And I'm pleased to introduce our next guest on this episode of the Break It Down show, Nick Velez. He and I fought together. We served together in the Marines, and now Nick has grown to be one of the most successful Marines and entrepreneurs. He's not only the president of SaveTheBrave.org that we're both a part of, he's also a very successful business owner. He owns Bastards American Canteen in Downey, California in Temecula, affectionately named after our magnificent Bastard Battalion, 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines. Nick has continued to serve his community. He continues to serve the veterans that we fought alongside, and I couldn't be more proud of him. And please, listen in and learn how it's done here on the Break It Down show.
Lions Rock Productions.
This is Jay Moore.
This is Greg Crew.
This is Bryce
This
Vine.
is Dexter from The Offspring.
This is Nathan
This
East.
is Sebastian Younger.
This is Daryl Ames.
This is Stuart Copeland.
This is Mick Gillette.
This is Andy Summit.
This is Dr. Bob Greenberg.
This is Gabby Reese.
This is Rob Bell.
Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero.
Hey, and this is Pete A. Turner.
This is Scott Huesing, and I want to welcome everyone to your Break It Down show.
One of our squad leaders that served in an Echo company with us, Simon Lickey, who, was pretty much the man of the hour all the time. This guy was hot shit. This guy you would never think that, was going through problems or going through anything, right? You just think he's the toughest guy in the block, but those toughest guys, sometimes deal with those demons, even after the war, and unfortunately he lost the battle, to suicide, and and when that happened, that really kind of hit me hard and made me want to just make just change that. In the Marine Corps we say we take care of our own. We always preach about taking care of our own, but what, do we really take care of our own? Do we really do that when we get out? So with Save the Brave, it was more of like this need to create a nonprofit that was catered to our guys, right? To our tribe, right? To whatever their needs are, right? Whether it's helping them with with VA claim, or maybe helping a Gold Star mother or Gold Star family, flying them to a funeral, or even taking a veteran fishing that we focus on our Save the Brave offshore program. We're this nonprofit that's really there to take care of our own in any way possible. So Save the Brave is more than just your average nonprofit that's there to kind of go through the kumbaya stuff. We're really putting boots on the deck and making things count and making these trips count with these vets and following up on our vets and making sure that they're alive at the end of the day, because that's the mission.
When you take on a suicide-based mission, especially in the military, you also, as you mentioned, acquire Gold Star families, in general. I mean,
those families who've lost military service members on active duty, and also those who have to deal in the tragic wake of veteran suicide. They are not dubbed Gold Star families. I think it's Gray Star. They're coming up with their own, but there's significant part of the population that we serve because, unfortunately, much is the case with a lot of the guys we've lost, and they're not just statistics. They are our friends, like Nick mentioned. These are people we know. These are the Marines that I wrote about in the book.
Right.
They're people that we're still very connected to this day. And when we find out that one of our friends has killed themselves and the family wasn't letting us know what they were struggling with, or, they were drinking too much, or they were having, suicidal thoughts, it's always too late. That's the problem we have. So what we've really been focusing on as we've grown this nonprofit the last 5 years is not awareness, but prevention. There's a differentiation in terms is we have to be focused on prevention. And that's what we've been doing through these outreach programs. And the fishing just kind of took off, where we were tied in with Andrew Pereira and Stoked on Fishing and Dr. Dan, who's a neurologist, and Shay McAtee and Fox West Sports. So they rallied around this. They're like, man, these are great guys to help. We fish. They like to fish. And so we've been jamming out. We did 12 trips this year alone through Stoked on Fishing. Wow. And we've helped hundreds of veterans. So, and for me, it didn't really resonate from the first fishing trip when Nick says, hey, sir, the trip launches out of Huntington Beach. Be on deck at 04. And I'm thinking, oh, fuck, man. Like 24 years in the Marine Corps, like I never cracked the code on that whole getting up early thing. And I was kind of anxious. Like I wasn't going to go. And then
it's back to 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was like, I got a kick in the ass. Like, no, you need to go. The boys want to go out fishing with you. And I went and I had a great time. So since then, we've done hundreds of fishing trips and outreach programs and all kinds of stuff, not just deep sea fishing. But I didn't realize what a once in a lifetime experience that is because it's really expensive. And we're fortunate to have a lot of donors and sponsors that allow us to have the resources not only to take guys fishing on the water, and it's normally about $1,500 per vet for a 1 day fishing trip. That's like leaving at 5 a.m, getting back at 5 on the pier, and they get the fish, it's filleted, and the guys all cut it up for them. So it's really kind of plug and play. But I really hadn't realized how impactful that is. And there's a lot of veteran nonprofits, I think over 45,000 last count, that are registered with the IRS. So everybody's got their thing. And what we've realized is that SaveTheBrave.org is really bridging the gap between what the VA won't do and what other veteran nonprofits are kind of unresponsive to do. And we like to think that we're just doing our part. And that's important because you have to be great at what you do. We know what we're great at. We know what we're not great at. We're not dogs for troops. We're not backpacks for troops. We're not this, that, or the other. We're great at what we do. We are connectors. I think we've talked about this on other shows. Is like, hey, Scott, what is it that you do? Like, well, I'm a connector. I love sharing my network. I love bringing veterans in. But more importantly, as our company has grown, as this nonprofit has expanded, what it's allowed us to do is expand our vision and those who we want to help. And that now includes the families of veterans, because we got to get them on the boat. We got to get them to the party. We got to get them tied into what the veterans are dealing with. And I think they love that when they can bring their son or daughter or their wife or girlfriend on a trip. That's probably more impactful than just getting 5 or 10 or 20 vets out on a boat and taking them fishing as they cast the line and kind of disconnect once the cell phone service goes dead. It's really helpful. So that's where we have gone from sitting over a kitchen table with a couple $1,000 thrown in the bank saying, we got to do something. But there's a time for talking. There's a time for doing. And that's what Nick and the rest of the team have done. And when they called me and asked me to be a part of it, the first question I probably said was, or response was, as long as we do it the right way. And before the show, Nick, who is opening a restaurant here in Temecula, California, Bastards Canteen in Temecula, we said, well, he asked me a great question. What was it? What was the question? Oh, what was it?
You know the question. I said, what separates us? I mean,
what's
going into the podcast, like, talking about Save the Brave and really just, telling, the people what we want to tell them, right? It's they hear a million stories about nonprofits, about, how great they are and why you should donate to that nonprofit, because there's a million nonprofits, or 45,000 nonprofits that you should probably donate to, because I'm sure they're doing great things as well. But what separates Save the Brave from those other 45?
So that was the question I said to Nick, I said, okay, so let's not both answer that question. You ask yourself that question. You I'll ask Pete that question because, Pete, you're tied into this. You've been to the events. You've seen who we serve. And then I have my answer. So I think if everybody gave an answer to that question, that's probably more along the lines of getting an honest, authentic response. So let me start with Pete.
I've been working on
because you've worked with other veteran nonprofits. I would ask you the question, after all the events that you've been to and seen what we do, seen the veterans we help, what do you think it is about Save the Brave that makes us different from other nonprofits that are operating in the veteran space?
There's a lot of nonprofits out there, and they all work hard at whatever it is they do. I think we have a lot of people who are good at connecting with people. Going back to your connector thing, you and I drove across the nation and came back and connected with hundreds of people, because
thousands.
Yeah, thousands. Well, I meant us directly,
yeah.
And then we send the stuff. I'm sending pictures nonstop and videos back to Nick, and he's getting the team to put out social media posts, and it just that kind of effort. We don't fear the hard work, the 100-degree heat, the long days to go do it. I'm not saying other groups don't do it, but I don't know. We have managed to have a genuine nature with what we're doing. And I think that's partly what it is. And we also ask, we connect to people that have a desire to give, and we say, here's what we need, time, money, attention. If you have an old hunk of land, if you have an old boat, we have something, we will put it to work and make a difference. It's not just we turned on the light and said we're a charity, donate. We're out there actively partnering with people, finding people that want to donate time and attention. And I think there's a difference in that.
What did you come up with for an answer to that question?
Why is Save the Brave different? It's a simple fact that when vets need our help, we're there, regardless of how hot it is, how high it is, how low it is, or whatever it takes. Maybe sometimes it's not even part of our mission. Just like in the Marine Corps, sometimes you're especially being in the infantry, you get a mission and you're out in the mission, and then shit happens. And now you have a frago for another mission that just popped up out of nowhere, and you got to now you got to make sure you take care of that before you move on to the next part of the mission. So that's kind of like what Save the Brave is we're very mission orientated, and we are not afraid of getting into a fight. We're not afraid of getting into to help any vet in whatever situation he's in. And that's the beautiful thing about Save the Brave, is that we're very, in the Marine Corps we say semper gumby, and we're very flexible. And I love that. Sometimes the bigger organizations can't do that. They have to, there's very strict bylaws that they have to abide by, which is fine and it's great. However, we're also people, and we're also understand that sometimes there's that gray area. There's no mission. There's no one out there to help you. So we have to bridge that gap. And I think we've done a pretty good job at that.
I want to ask you the same question.
Yeah. Well, in one word, I would say caring. And I'm not saying that other veteran nonprofits don't care, but all of the people that are in this organization care. And people have heard me say it 1,000 times. I could teach people to do a lot of things. And this is not hyperbole. I believe this. I could teach Nick how to shoot faster or how to run faster, but I can never teach people how to care. And everyone that we're surrounded with in this organization cares, because our goal at the end of the day is, much like everything we do, is to really help people that can't help themselves, or people that are struggling with the battles of post-traumatic stress. That makes us absolutely different than a lot of people that just singularly focus on one thing or material items. We focus on the people and really trying to find those people, and we get hundreds of emails from veterans. They blindly send us a copy of their DD-214, which is your discharge certificate in the military, saying like, look, I served, I was in combat, or even if I wasn't in combat, you don't have to be in combat to be dealing with some of these things. You can have trauma in other areas of your life, and that's what we do. That's what makes us different, is we truly care. We always want to stay connected to the individual that is dealing with these issues and really make a difference in their life. And there's plenty of nonprofits that measure success through metrics, either medically or administratively, or the number of people they serve. Our greatest testimonials come from those we serve. And that's really our metric of success, I think, is when we get an email or a text message or something from a guy that we took out on a boat or we're at an event, they say, oh man, I got my job back. Or, that was really, in a word, transformational, that we pulled them out of that place they were in and just plugged them back into this network of people who care. And it allows them to see things through a slightly different lens. I think that's really an important thing. And as we continue to grow from that kitchen table to having a bigger staff and paying people to work for us and grow and market and promote so people know who we are, I think that we're very cautious of that. I mean, we have these conversations like we don't want to get disconnected from those people. I wish I could go on every single fishing trip, but it's not practical, and also keep the lights on and do the other things at the 30,000 foot level that an executive director is supposed to do. I think that making that difference in people's lives, though, is really what sustains us as well to keep doing what we're doing.
When we were on the trip, we get all the way out to the other side of the nation in South Carolina, and you were having an interaction. Granted, this isn't veteran suicide, but it's a Gold Star family, Gray Star, however they're going to call themselves. But they, a member of that family comes out, and you are part of that community now, like forever, for that life. That was
Chris Libby.
Chris Libby, right?
Exactly. One of my Gold Star brothers.
Yeah.
I mean, his name is on the back cover of my book. He just shows up. I mean, we've been there since his brother Dustin was killed in Ramadi, and that
the brotherhood's always there. The brotherhood's always going to be there.
Yeah.
And it's with Gold Star families, it's always there. And, and again, going back to like what separates Save the Brave from other nonprofit organizations is that if any vets are out there watching this and want to go on a fishing trip, or maybe you say, hey, I don't want to go on a fishing trip, but I want to go on a hunting trip, or I want to just get away and this is what I want to do, DM us at savethebrave.org. Email us at info@savethebrave.org and just send us your ideas, and we'll see how we can connect you. If we can't help you, there's another nonprofit out there that can. And again, we understand that the overall mission is to keep you alive, keep you happy, keep you sane, keep your families happy. And that's our goal. So in whatever way we can do it, whether it's Save the Brave helping you or another nonprofit that we know that we can trust and say, hey, you're in good hands here. And we don't mind doing that because, again, overall, that's the bigger mission.
You said DM. Don't be afraid to DM if you're not a veteran too. Like if someone in your life, you're worried about them and you want them to get reached out to, because a lot of times we can't reach out anymore, And it's also okay to help someone who's not at the end of the rope. Like they're on the rope. We're all on the rope at some point. You don't have to wait until they're hanging on by their last, little bit of life. It's okay to say, hey, I built this thing. You're going to go down to San Diego and go fishing on a boat, or LA and go fishing on a boat. It's okay to do that. So reach out for those that you love that are military folks that you think could use extra help, and we'll do our job to help them. And that's why you donate and kick money in, is because we're going to resource that level of help and hopefully get that person over a hump. Because, a lot of times these problems that we have are small problems, whether it's a tiny financial problem, it's just you need a reset. You need to be of service to someone, right? Like we all want to be of service to somebody.
And again, we can't do this without the help of our sponsors, our donors. We are 100% volunteer, 100% donation-based nonprofit organization. So what does that mean? It means that we solely rely on you guys. We rely on you guys to be able to raise funds or donations, and then help our vets, help other vets that are really struggling and going through what they're going through. They're going through the hard times, or alcoholism, or whatever addiction, or whatever they're going through. We can't do it without your help. So we need you to get online, go on www.savethebrave.org, hit the donate button on the first page and donate, whether it's $5, whether that's $20 a month. Anything helps. So
the recurring monthly donations are really one of the best things, because if there's 1,000 people that watch this show and everybody donates $5 a month, so if we're talking to 1,000 people, $5 a month is $60. I mean, I don't like to do math in public. It's a lot of money, man. It's $60,000. So your $5 a month that you probably won't even remember donating, it's a $60 a year, a tank of gas. You're really part of the solution to help really change lives. I mean, that is life-changing when you talk about, having 1,000 people donate $60 a year. Monetarily, that's one thing. But we also, here's the thing too, man. We talk a lot about, suicide, and we have to talk about it. We can't, people kill themselves. There's no sugarcoating it. We never dance around that. Or drugs or alcohol abuse or depression. Those are all factors that lead people to those points in their life of, hopelessness and isolation, and, where they want to jump off and make that life-changing decision to kill themselves. We want to prevent that. And those things are all kind of morose or sad to talk about. But when the guys are connected with us and we're out on these fishing trips, we're not a bunch of boozy vets drinking on the boat, telling war stories about, man, I got it so sad. We don't ever dwell on the sadness. And you know that too, Pete. We focus on the positive stuff. We give guys tough love if they need it too. We just had a guy, we won't mention any names, calls. He's dealing with alcohol abuse, and his support network around him reaches out and says, hey, he needs to talk to you, Scott. He's going to listen to you. And I said, I had to say this because I knew he was protected as well. There's no PhD on my walls. I'm not a doctor, but I'm a Marine, and I know how to talk to vets too. And I think he was trying to solicit some pity from me. I said, look, man, don't call my phone number if you want pity. You call the hospital if you want pity. They'll prescribe you meds and give you all the pity you want, but it's not going to solve the problem. Stay connected to people who love you. And the guys that are with you right now, you better hug them. Don't fight them, because they're there to help you right now. Great news story is that veteran was taken care of and put into a treatment facility where he's currently, right now as we record the show, getting the treatment he needs. But those guys knew to reach out to Save the Brave and to me and say, hey, man, can you jump in here and use your experience and just your voice to maybe make a difference. And that's an important thing, because we want to stay positive, but we can't do that. We all have day jobs. Nick's got 2 restaurants he's running. I do a little this, that, and the other. As most people know, I don't sit around here and eat bonbons all day, despite what Pete says. But we really rely on that. And here's another thing too, while we're talking about the donations and people wanting to help. Pete knows this. How many times do people call us or email us like, hey, you know what you should be doing? You should do this. Like, automatically when I hear that, I think you're just creating more work for me. Me and Nick create enough work for each other with great ideas. But we just had this revelation because we have so many great supporters like Joe and Heather Giuliani at PLB Coffee, Tom Tackett at Patriotic Service Dog Foundation, the Valentes at PYS. We got Stoked on Fishing. We got, Slapfish, Bastards Canteen, Jay Moore, a friend of the show. All these people who throw our logo up, they donate money, they donate resources, but they are really putting their time and money where their mouth is, instead of the people that say, oh, hey, you know what you should do is. So we had this revelation, because we're just at an event in glorious Victorville, California, up in Apple Valley, and it was an Army 10-miler, First Team Real Estate said, hey, we want you to be the beneficiaries of this, and they raised over $10,000. We split the money between Soldier Strong and Save the Brave. They didn't create any work for us, and the light bulb went on and said, we need 1,000 people like this to raise $1,000 every year. And you think about that again, doing the math in public, $100,000, man. That's life-changing. You can literally change someone's life.
And that's how you can help, if you're listening.
Exactly. So if you want to be a volunteer, like, oh, you know what? I do a bake sale at my church every year. We raise a couple $1,000. I would love it if Save the Brave was the benefactor of our bake sale or our chili cook-off or our run or our 5K. if we had, if you could go on our website and we see 1,000 people who are in our volunteer network who raise $1,000 each. I mean, think about that. Or if we had 100, maybe I did the math wrong. 100 volunteers, $1,000 is $100,000.
And if you don't have a chili cook-off, just go to your favorite restaurant in town and say, "Hey, I want to do a charitable event with you. Can we pick a night and have Save the Brave be the beneficiary of
local breweries are great.
Yeah.
Hey, $1 of every pint of this ale goes to.
Right.
And you reach out to us at Info Save the Brave. We send you the logo. We promote it. We've got a marketing team. We help you guys do that. I mean, that's really the way forward so we can continue to grow and not only help veterans and their families on these trips, but provide scholarships to the kids of veterans who've taken their own lives.
Yeah.
Those family members who are still dealing with this. It's a lifetime, man. They got to deal with this for the rest of their life. It's not just one event. It's something that they have to deal with. And then they have to struggle with the trauma of their loved one killing themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very real fact too. So that's how you can help. I mean, I think those are important things.
And if you're a veteran and you want to sign up for one of our fishing trips, go online. Go to bastarscanteen.com. I'm so used to that.
That was a gratuitous plug.
Right? SaveTheBrave.org. Scroll down, all the way down. You can see sign up. Just sign up. If you're not a vet and you want to volunteer, you can scroll down as well there where it says DD214. Just skip that part and sign up. Sign in your information. Just hit volunteer in there, and we'll contact you, and we'll let you know how you can help or any upcoming events coming up. We actually have a Marine Corps Birthday Veterans Day event coming up here in beautiful city of Temecula. November 10th. It'll be at,
Akash Winery.
Yeah.
is where we're planning on hosting it. So it'll be the 245th Marine Corps Birthday Ball and Veterans Day celebration at Akash Winery, hosted by Bastards Canteen, benefiting SaveTheBrave.org. And we're going to have DJ, we're going to have food. It's going to be, there's great Temecula Valley wine. Our friends at Akash Winery love the idea. They want to help veterans. There's just
COVID friendly.
COVID friendly, absolutely. Social distancing will apply, but it's going to be a great event. The link to that we'll get in the show notes for this episode soon once we get that event set up through Akash Winery. But just, again, Akash is one of those guys who's just like, I love it. I'm down.
If you're in Temecula, stop by Akash Winery.
Temecula, Murrieta. San Diego.
Southern California. Yeah, get
LA,
up here.
Southern California. Come out, man. It's going to be a great all-day event.
Yeah.
From
noon to 8 p.m.
Noon to 8 p.m. on a Wednesday.
Yeah, so you'll be on a Tuesday. You'll be able to find those tickets on our SaveTheBrave.org website. There'll be a link, but they'll also be on AkashWinery.com.
And it's since we're doing an infomercial for Save the Brave today, it's also this time of year when people give the most money. The giving season has begun. So you can Save the Brave, great. And if we're not your cup of tea, go to Charity on Top and just give charity to somebody else. You can literally put $20 into the machine. You can pay for the transition fee. And so that charity, whoever you give that gift card to, they can give to any charity. So if we're not your flavor, definitely this year, Charity on Top, Save the Brave, and that will be, that's a huge thing right there to be able to give charity as a gift. And not everybody needs a toaster. Give them a hunk of charity. Here's $50 of charity to give to the charity of your choice. And then that charity just has a $50 check show up. And it's really, when those things show up, you're like, damn, I can put this money to work right now.
Yeah, and you said it best, and I've parroted this. Pete said, charity is not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be hard. And I don't know if you quote, that's original, but it's prophetic in the sense that it's something that I continue to share with the people that it should be hard.
Yeah.
It should feel hard to reach in your pocket and that money you were going to spend on whatever, food or entertainment, and to give it to an organization that you really know little about, but they care. That should be hard. It should be hard to get up at 4:00 in the morning and drive to Apple Valley and stand there for a day of your life because you know that in the end it's going to help someone. I mean, that giving of your time and of yourself, those things should be hard. You should be conflicted, and that was really something important. Charity's not supposed to be easy.
Yeah, if the problem you were trying to solve was easy to solve, it would be solved. This requires lean, and we need your help.
And the resources piece to it too. This is kind of an infomercial. I mean, I want people that. Yeah. I don't like to label it as an infomercial, but it should be that this is right in front of our nose, and we say we've never done a show dedicated to Save the Brave because the logo's on the website. We've got a ton of supporters and people that have been on the show that support Save the Brave, and we should be doing this. We owe it to ourselves. Like like Pete's driving around with Save the Brave logos plastered all over his truck from the drive, and I think that's important. But how do you make an impact in someone's life? How do you give more of yourself to help others? And I think that the one thing that sustains me is and helps me through transition and doing what I do is if I'm not helping other people, I'm really not helping myself. I firmly believe in that. And I'm always reminded of how important that is in those days where I kind of want to hunker down and just kind of be isolated. I'm forced out of that comfort zone to stay connected to the guys in my tribe, connect with you, connect with Nick, and thousands of other people. And people sometimes just see what they want to see. You go to your computer and they see me traveling all over. They see something and like, oh, it's so exciting you're doing this. I'm like, man, but they don't see everything that goes behind that. They don't see the other hundreds and thousands of people that have really given of themselves to make a difference. And if I could go on and acknowledge every single one of those people on the show or on TV or on radio or on the podcast, man, that'd be a long show.
All right, well, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. It's actually kind of scrambled the show together at the last minute, but thank you all so much for listening. Check out savethebrave.org. Anything else in closing?
I just want to say thanks for those that have supported. If you're not supporting, go to savethebrave.org online. Find out more about what we do. Save the Brave.org on Instagram. Hit us up, ask the right questions, and we're here for you.